Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk. Jon Gruden. Oh my goodness, Jon Gruden, Mr. Gruden, Mr. Gruden, Mr. Gruden. So you was in Las Vegas and you gambled and you lost, bro. You lost big time. So let's talk about this. But we're going to talk about this not only in the light of, the disparaging things that he said against black people, but the disparaging things that he said against the other people that really got him canceled and really got him fired. Because in the line of with what's going on with Dave Chappelle, this brings up a very, very potent point that Dave made. And it also reinforces what Dave said. And I'd like to give a shout out to Shannon Sharp, because Shannon Sharp is the first person that I heard that brought about this scenario that I'm about to go on, because he pointed out the fact that Jon Gruden, even though he made disparaging remarks against black people, it wasn't until he made disparaging remarks, homophobic remarks, and chauvinistic remarks against women that he was actually kicked out the door. And this goes back into what Dave Chappelle was saying. Like he said, you can talk about anybody else and it's good and fine. But as soon as you open your mouth up and you start to criticize that alphabet group, then you're gone. You're done. They're going to attack you, and they're going to keep on attacking until they can get to you. And see what they're doing now, as far as the LGBTQ community, they can't attack Dave. They can't do anything to Dave other than speak their mind on him. But what they're doing is attacking everybody else that's attached to Dave, because Pharrell was trying to do a show that had Dave Chappelle connected to it, and now the hotel wants to say that no, they can't do the show because they don't want to deal with Dave. So they're not really hurting Dave, but they're hurting everybody that does business with Dave. And this is their next tactic. Since they can't directly do anything to Dave, they're going to try to hurt his business ventures and hurt other people around him to make them punish Dave. That's the next thing that they'll try to do. But back to Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden got on there and he did what all of them normally do. He says the PC thing to try to make it mull over. And it didn't work for him. Why? Because he didn't mean it, and you can tell the wording that he used that he did not mean none of what he said. He said merely that I don't want to be a distraction to the team. He didn't apologize for what he said. He didn't say that he didn't believe what he said. He just said he didn't want to be a distraction to the team. And that was honesty at its finest. Not saying anything just shows your complicity in what you were involved in. And not acknowledging you're wrong in what you were doing shows that you still feel that way, and you're not going to apologize for how you truly feel. And so that's exactly what Jon Gruden did. He didn't apologize for how he truly felt, but the consequences that he received, he would have never received those consequences, not from his boss, because his boss is also one of his friends, which is another thing that Shannon Sharp pointed out. And so he was going to try to let him explain it away, and then they do their thing, you know how they do, and they'll just wait for it to blow over. But then more stuff started coming down the pipeline, and it seems like the more stuff that came down the pipeline, it started turning into homophobic slurs he was making, and then chauvinistic slurs that he was making. And we have these guys out here that just, you remember, like, kind of the jock who's very chauvinistic, who's an alpha male and just has that real toxic mentality. We do have those types of guys. I want people to understand that toxic masculinity is a real thing. But the way that they try to use that label on everything to try to discredit it is what's taking the power away from that term. So we look at Jon Gruden, he's one of those guys who comes from that class of people who have that jock mentality and who has those very old school points of view on people and positions that people are supposed to be in. And, can we fault them for that? Yeah, at a certain point, after you grow up and you learn certain things, you make a personal decision to still continue to think that way, even though you find out that's flawed thinking. So he chose to continue to think that way and to carry himself in that way. So Jon Gruden is getting everything that Jon Gruden deserves. Now you have some people out there to say, "Well, Dave Chappelle said this about these people, and you see everybody standing by Dave Chappelle." Well, the difference between Dave Chappelle and Jon Gruden is this: Dave Chappelle is a comedian. Dave Chappelle gets paid very well to give his point of view on things in the world. And he sees things slightly different than most people sees, and that's what makes him so appealing to the masses. Jon Gruden is a football coach. His form of entertainment for you is motivating those men to go out there and do the best that they can on the field. Now, what does race, what does sexual orientation, and what does gender have to do with any of that? Absolutely nothing. He got caught in personal conversations with other people where he's able to let his hair down and really be himself. And he got caught up in what he meant. It was malicious. It was intended to hurt. And everything that he said and every email that was caught was sent out to do something to someone. So that's the difference between Dave Chappelle and Jon Gruden. Jon Gruden was sneaking saying his stuff on the down low because he knew he was wrong. Dave Chappelle said his in an auditorium upon millions of people because he's comfortable in what he's saying and he knows he's not malicious about it and he knows that he's right in his points that he's making. And that's the difference. And that's why Dave Chappelle is garnering support. And that's why Jon Gruden is falling to the wayside. So we look at these guys. Jon Gruden's not the only person in the NFL that feels like that. There's still players who are very racist. There's still players who are very homophobic. There's still players who are chauvinistic. You look at the what was the player's name? I believe he played for the Ravens, the big lineman who beat his black girlfriend almost to death. And yeah, he had mental issues and stuff like that, but we still see these types of things going on, man. So they have some really mental issues that are they're multiplied by 100. You can multiply by 100 or magnify by 100 times because of the potential head injuries that these guys have, and it will only exacerbate what they already have going on with them as far as their behavior and their thought pattern. So, you know, and I can imagine how the players feel, you know, and some of them know what he is. Some of them are feeling good that he's actually been exposed. And now this is going to open up a conversation about all of these other head coaches and other staff members around the NFL and the NBA and the NHL and MLB and all the other acronyms for the sports organizations and how they carry themselves and conduct themselves and how they speak and treat these players and the fans as well. We remember Donald Sterling. Everybody remembers Donald Sterling had to sell the Clippers for his racist and not just racist, but man, this dude was the ultimate racist. It's like he was trying to gun for the top spot of David Duke. May have been close friends with David Duke for all I know. But Mr. Sterling was very, very open to this young black lady that he was dating coincidentally about he did not want her to be around Magic Johnson or that N word And he was talking to a black girl. But see, this is the mindset of these people, because we go back to the slavery days, and they would have the slave woman in their beds, and they would have the black women using them to fulfill all of their little pleasures and desires, and would turn around and disparage them and think nothing more of them than a blow up doll, and still held the same temperament or the same attitude and behavior that they did about their slaves. And so it's nothing for them to sleep with the slave woman. And Donald Sterling is no different. He comes from that era where they would be down in the hood picking up black women in their nice vehicles, and going off and having their fantasies with black women, but still hating them and their children at the same time. So that's nothing uncommon to them. But to try to make it seem like that these people are not who they are, then I was always told this: if you're scared to do something in front of everybody, then you shouldn't do it. Period, point blank. If you can't go and do this thing out in front of everybody freely, you got to go and hide and dip in the cut and do this and whisper and stuff, then you don't need to do it, because that means you're not man enough to do it, or woman enough to do it, because you're hiding it. So if you're not man or woman enough to do a thing in public in front of everybody, you shouldn't do it at all. Period. And that'll kill that whole concept right there. But people are going to still continue to creep around and be afraid to say what they want to say. And that goes back into my earlier episode that I did when I was speaking about the freedom of speech here on social media platforms, and how they'll use monetization to stop you from saying what you want to say. And so I'm just glad that I said that this morning, and it's no coincidence that I came across this story. And what's happening, my brother? I'm talking about Jon Gruden, man, and how when he was talking about black people, you know, his homeboy was trying to sweep it under the rug, you know what I'm saying? But then when it came down the pipeline, oh, he was talking about the LGBTQ community. Oh, he was talking about women. And that's when he really got some consequences for his actions. So it's continuing to show and enforce what Dave Chappelle was saying. You can say whatever you want to about our black people, and it can slide all day long. But soon as you say something about those other people, then all of a sudden, oh, you got to get some consequences and actions and stuff like that. That goes back to the point that I made it a while ago. And I was saying, look, we've been here for over 400 years, and we still don't have a hate crime bill. But they've definitely jumped and put a hate crime bill in place for everybody else except for us. Now, I thought the whole civil rights movement started with our people. We started that, but everybody else is seeming to get civil rights except for the people who created the whole movement. Said we need to get our code words back, brother. We need to get our identity back, man, as a people. That's what we, first and foremost, yeah, we definitely got to get those code words back, man. But we got to get our identity back as a people, man. People are not understanding how much of a war we in, and how much these people really hate us. They really don't. They think that times have changed and those people are long gone. No, we still have a remnant. Every single generation keeps them a remnant of those old timey people, those old thinking people. They're always going to keep them a remnant of that, in hopes of keeping their bloodline Aryan and pure. That's their whole goal. That's the whole reason for all of this hate and all of this anger against us, man. That's the whole point for it, because they see their bloodline dying. They see their ethnic group, their pure ethnic group dying, which isn't pure, because everything comes from the black. We all know that. So I don't know where they trying to get this pure white concept from, because that'll never exist, because everything came from the black mother. So they're doing this in futility, but just to show the mental health issues that these people are dealing with, they feel like they are separated from everybody else. even though they came from the black, and even their own history teaches them that. So, man, everybody, I need y'all to go over to the official Dr. Walsh show, man. This brother be dropping some knowledge, man, and he definitely is in the vein of bringing our community back to a good standing and back to a place where we can hold our heads up level with everybody else, man. This is what we need. We have strong men out here who's being motivated by the spirit to motivate the people and to exhort our nation, man. And we need to take advantage of these brothers and these sisters. So go over, give that brother all the support that you can, man. Much love to you, my brother. Same thing for Talk with T. Same thing with Self Awareness TV with Reverend Tony. Big J. Let's Talk. Um, a few other shows. If I didn't mention you, man, then charge it to my head, not my heart. Um, Eve James show. That's another sister out there doing her thing. So yeah, it's a lot of people on here that have a heart for the people, man. It's a lot of people on here that really want to see us excel and really want to see us achieve what we have the potential to achieve in this world, man. And a lot of times I don't care how strong you are, I don't care how self-sufficient you are, man. Everybody needs support. Everybody needs that positive affirmation, man. That's just motivation. That's just fuel to keep you going in this game, because a lot of times we get beat down more than we get the kudos and stuff. We get criticized, and we get people attempt to discredit us far more than they support us. And as you can see, the people who are willing to tell the truth and not willing to play the game and appease other people's feelings and stuff like that and just keep it 100, they're not going to have them large numbers like that. You're not going to see that. So shout out to everybody who's sacrificing in order to keep on telling the truth. And Coach Jon Gruden, like I said, he's just one of many who haven't been caught yet. Like when Bill Clinton got caught in the Oval Office with Monica Lewinsky, he was just the first to get caught. He wasn't the first or the last to do it. And it's the same thing here, man. That's just God's way of revealing to us. Like I said, we're in the great revealing. That's what the day of revelation is all about. The day of the great revealing. And everything is being revealed in these days, man. That's what people are failing to see. Things are being revealed to us in real time. It's not waiting for 10 years for it to come out no more. It's coming out in real time now, and people are getting dealt with right in the moment, because the time for playing is over with. So, man, let's continue to confront these things head on. That's what we have to do. We can't beat around the bush no more. We have no time for beating around the bush and being PC and all of that. No, the enemy not doing that. He not being PC. He not beating around the bush. He's right in our face, throwing all of his stuff right in our face and infecting our children right in our face. So we're supposed to put on the kid gloves with him? No, we fight him the same way he fighting us, and even harder. And that's how I'm coming. That's what I'm coming with. That's what I'm always gonna come with. And so, man, I appreciate y'all for coming in and supporting me, man. I appreciate everybody that's on here bringing forth their point of view, and I appreciate your view, and that's why I support the people that I do. So I'm about to get off here, man, and y'all just mull over this and just go read that Jon Gruden story, man, and really develop an opinion about that for yourself, man, because it's crazy. It's real crazy, man. And you said eye for an eye, brother. You know, in my mind's eye, I be feeling like that sometimes, man. And whenever I say eye for an eye, okay, well, if I go and do to this dude what he did to me, man, that might make me feel better in the moment, but that's not gonna make me overall feel better. What's gonna make me overall feel better, man, is to show that person just how weak and how cowardly they are. That's the worst thing you can do to a person who who just he craves power and craves dominance. The worst thing you can do to that person is show them how weak they truly are. That will crush them more than anything that you could say or do to them. And so that's what I do a lot of times on here. I show them people just how weak they truly are, and they hate it. They may not come out and say it, but they're going to give it away in their actions, because it's always going to come out and manifest through their actions when they try to hold something in. Um, so yeah, hey, brother, keep on going, man. Keep on speaking your truth, and we about to get out of here. This your boy D Mac, man. You know what I say: sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.